For many years, we have waited for the moment when one of those awakened Shinju would finally succeed. We waited for the illusion of safety that the story has been building up into Blue Vortex to finally crack. And now it is happening at long last. Chapter 24 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, it ended with chilling information. Mamushi, the grotesque, snake-like Shinju, has begun hunting Ada. Not Boruto, not Kawaki, Ada, a girl who hates conflict, who wanted nothing more than to be adored, not to be feared. A girl who wanted to be loved, a girl who does not like to fight. And most terrifyingly, she might not survive what's about to come next. And that's exactly why she must be devoured. Join me in today's newest Naruto Explained video where I'm going to lay out the argument for why I believe Ada should get eaten alive by Mamushi in the upcoming chapters. And for full transparency, so I can have my bias on the table, Ada is one of my favorite new generation characters. So your OBC, your original Boruto chief, he's going to be looking at that picture of Ada with tears in his eyes as he grabs the pistol and prepares to pull the trigger. Because I do think we might be saying goodbye to what I arguably believe is one of the better characters of this new generation. Ada video essay will be coming in a few months. Still waiting on that to get edited by an editor. Now, also as a quick reminder, the chapter review is up on the channel, so check that out if you haven't seen that already. And also don't forget to check out my Anime Explained channel, because we are covering some of the seasonal anime that you guys are probably watching right now, from Dawn to Dawn, My Dress Up Darling, and etc. So check those videos out on the Anime Explained channel if you have time. So jumping right into it, we need to just start with the big elephant in the room, which is that the bad guys need a win. And I'm not saying this as a guy who, when I watch movies and read manga, watch anime, and etc., I have a tendency to root for the bad guys. Chances are, if you have me list out my favorite characters, outside of Kenshin, and really that's it, my favorite character is usually a bad guy. So again, transparency, but I do believe the bad guys need to win. Narratively, the Shinju, they've been a threat, but they could be presented in a better way. Ever since their emergence, these awakened Shinju, they have been set up as an existential threat. Jura, Hidari, Ryu, Matsuri, Mamushi, they're these nightmarish monsters who defy everything you expect in this world of ninja, especially when it comes to ninja power scaling. And yet they've been thwarted. Ryu and Matsuri, man, they got dusted. Sarda blew Ryu up to pieces, and Matsuri, she was too busy trying to get some of that Konohamaru greatness, and he slammed those big giant balls into her and he ripped her apart. And then Boruto showed up and finished the job because Konohamaru's giant Rasengan balls were not enough to get the job done. Their deaths were taken care of, and now we see that Shinki and Moegi, they're probably going to be getting unsealed. So they came and went, they served their purpose, but ask yourself the question, outside of Jura ore farming in this chapter and Jura shooting Boruto with the bullet, what have the Shinju truly accomplished? They haven't done anything. Even when you look at Jura, yeah, he's powerful and Kawaki wasn't able to kill him, and he's clearly up to something, but outside of Jura, everyone else, you're just kind of just sitting and looking. Hidari, he's eerie, he's Sasuke-like, and he's observing things from shadow. He appears to be gaining new information, etc. But he was almost killed before. This is very much unlike what you saw with the Akatsuki. And I'm not trying to compare them to Akatsuki, but I say that to say, even with the Akatsuki, as we saw them losing members, we still saw them get some W's as well. This is a very bold narrative choice. I'm going to let the story cook. I'm going to let it play out. I'm a firm believer that you do have delayed payoff, and I do understand that in writing you have false guns. So not everything is a Chekhov's gun that has to go off. Some things are meant to intentionally mislead you, but if that's the route we're going here, I think it's a mistake. Again, I'm going to allow it to play out, but I am seeing a pattern. Every time that the Shinji make a move, Team Konoha seems to push back even harder, and they seem to be successful, except for in situations that involve Jura. But that's the problem. Again, the longer that pattern holds, the less threatening I believe that the Shinju may come across. And Ikimoto has a chance right now to make this a very good group. I like the dynamics of what he's done. We don't need sob backstories and we don't need over-the-top personalities. From a strictly writing perspective on what each of these Shinju represent and how they are portrayed, I think he's done a good job there, but now we need something that makes them feel like a true threat. We need a shift. We need a loss. We need a real casualty. A moment that tells the audience no one is safe. Like in Naruto, that became clear when we saw Gaara get the One Tails extracted from him, but then Chiyo saved him, but even then Chiyo died. But it really hit home when Asuma, who barely had any screen time in the manga, Asuma died. Then you found out that Kurenai was pregnant with this kid. That worked. You saw Shikamaru on full demon time, which the anime, for as cool as that scene where Shikamaru is playing shogi with his father and etc., manga Shikamaru during the Akatsuki suppression arc was an absolute demon. And that is one of the all-time get-backs that only the manga can properly show you. Video on that coming later on. But I say that to say this. Even back then, Hidan and Kakuzu and just the Akatsuki in general, because of what they took from us, there was a loss there. Now we have Mamushi slithering through that dark forest. He's going to have that mist trailing behind him because he's the Shinju associated with the Mamushi Viper Snake. Ada being devoured, that will be a moment. That would shatter the pattern. It will be a cruel reminder and a cruel representation that the innocent can be taken. And that's what this series needs. This is why I believe that Ada is the perfect victim. Let's start with the obvious. She's not a fighter. She has power, doesn't like to fight average taijutsu. She doesn't run into battle. She avoids it. She hates it. Her greatest weapon, omnipotence, which for her, that's the charm control power, is passive and it's not going to work on a Shinji more likely than not, and it does not work on Otsutsuki. It's not going to protect her from the jaws of a predator like a Shinju, like Mamushi. Her Senrigan, again, is passive. She's not going to be able to use it in battle in a way that's meaningful. She spent the entire story hovering above danger. She's basically been that princess in the tower, protected. First it was Code, then it was Daemon, then it was Daemon and Boruto and Kawaki and Shikamaru and all the people in Konoha, and even in that hideout where she's at now, where she's living with everybody, she's got Daemon there, she's got Konoha Shinobi. She has been protected. She has not had to go into any type of combat. But Mamushi, he's not just any Shinju, he's made from Bug's chakra. That means he's twisted by obsession and corrupted by his all-consuming love for Ada. This isn't just a predator versus prey scenario. This is personal, and it is poetic. I want you to think about Mamushi sitting in a corner somewhere, four-corner room, staring at candles, a picture of Ada, just saying Ada's name over and over and over again. Ada being consumed by a creature who was made from somebody who loves her. That's the ultimate irony. She has always been searching for love. Love might be the thing that ends up getting her destroyed. Her beauty, it became a curse. Her power, it is useless. And symbolically, Ada represents the false sense of control that the protagonists thought that they had. They have Boruto using the information from Kashin Koji's 10 directions. They're altering the future and etc. They've been racking up all these wins. Ada, in so many ways, she's part of this new order. Her loss would signal that nothing is truly working anymore, just as Kashin Koji said. Boruto, when you change the timeline, there are consequences. I want you to think back to Naruto versus Pain in order to truly understand why this is needed for the story. Remember that fear throughout most of the early parts of part 2 of the story, where there was a fear that Kurama would break free? Well, for a long time, we were told what would happen when the Nine Tails would finally take over, and in volume 47, volume 48, that's when we finally saw it. It's the manga cover where you have the Six Tails version of Naruto, and you have, I believe, Minato on the manga volume as well, or on the spine of the manga volume. But eventually we saw it. We saw what happens when the Nine Tails, all 9 of them fully emerge on Naruto, and Minato had to step in. We needed to see that. It gave the threat of Naruto using Kurama's power real teeth. Remember when the Akatsuki captured Agent Cherokee and extracted their Biju? Remember Gaara? Remember how you felt when you got to that first moment? Those were turning points. They showed the consequences of failure. In Boruto, we've heard again and again and again, the Shinju are after somebody. They want to devour somebody. But what happens when they do? I've been harping on this for a year for a reason. What happens when they do? We need that answer. What if we actually see Ada's body unravel, her godlike presence being torn apart, her omnipotence potentially transferred, absorbed, her Senrigan, same thing, maybe her soul, her memories consumed and digested by Mamushi. These Shinju are looking for something that each of their targets maintain. The story needs this. The fear needs to be real again. And this also would kind of play into Boruto's fatal mistake. That's the most important part because it all traces back to Boruto. Mamushi going after Ada is Boruto's fault. Boruto defied Kashin Koji's 10 directions warning. Kashin Koji, a man who sees all possible futures, told Boruto to stick to a specific path, but Boruto strayed. He got emotionally involved. He told Kawaki, get your limiters moved right now, and he created the noise that is this timeline we're in right now. And that noise, it has consequences. If Ada dies now, Boruto will be haunted by it. Her death will be a direct result of his decision to stray from his role as a singularity of fate. His hero journey in this instance is going to have a fracture. Doubts will creep in, and he'll learn that even he can't save everyone. And in that guilt, we're going to get real development. We get a new edge to Boruto's stoicism that we've seen, a shadow behind his eyes. And don't forget, we've never seen what happened when a Shinju devours somebody. Is it instant? Is it prolonged? Do they absorb memories, powers? Do they become more human? What if Mamushi is able to speak with Ada's voice? What if her omnipotence and Senrigan mutate with him? The horror potential there, it is absolutely unmatched. This isn't just death, it's revelation. It gives the Shinju a new edge that they've lacked. It raises the stakes. It reminds us that this is not the world, the Naruto world we once knew. Ada's death would be a tragedy, a horrifying twist, but it will also be the new beginning of a next potential chapter in the story, one soaked in blood, regret, and darkness. Mamushi must win, and when he does, the entire story changes. This is how you continue to break a timeline. This is how you raise the stakes, and most importantly, this is how you make Boruto suffer. And suffering leads to pain. Pain leads to stimulation. Stimulation leads to character growth. Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, clicking on the left to check out that chapter review, or clicking on the right to check out videos from my other two anime channels.